Hello everyone, welcome to History Forge. My name is Taylor Hamblin. Going to be going over how to create an annotated bibliography, a process paper, and a title page. So it's going to be a big video going over how to make three really crucial documents in a project. So we're just going to go ahead and get in. If you're my students, I'm using this stuff right here. And if you're anybody else that watches these links will be in the video description. So, first thing, you guys see we're on our team website, and we have all these different links. We also need to actually go to Google Drive, and we need to make a doc. So, you guys need to go to your history folder. Hopefully you know how to make a doc. If you don't, raise your hand or ask a neighbor, and either the neighbor or I will help you. So, as you can see, we have a thing called Annotated Bibliography. That's what I would like you to create. So, pause me while you do that. Now what we're going to do is, when we have an annotated bibliography made, we need to realize that this is for our primary sources and our secondary sources. So what we actually do is, we first go primary sources, and then we'll go secondary sources. So we're going to actually dump all of our sources that we've ever used into this document. So all the secondary sources that you've read for your project, all your primary sources you've read for your project, we want to save those into here. Hopefully you've already saved a lot of your stuff. I've been telling everybody to save their website links, to write down the books that they've read, all the information that they've ever done. They need to be putting that into their bibliography. So my advice is just go into, like, say I'm just going to randomly click our link, find all of your sources and just start copying and pasting them. You just want to paste them right into there. Now, some people I know have websites that have primary sources. This is really crucial, so pay attention. So when you have a website that has more than one primary source, what you do is you click the website link and you put it down in here, because technically the website's a secondary source, but the primary source actually needs to go into here. So what you would do is you would write the name of the source. So we'll say letter to Abraham Lincoln, and then we would type in the link. So we know for a fact that we're looking specifically for the letter of Abraham Lincoln, and we have the link right here to help us. That link is still down here too, because technically the website is a secondary source. So make sure you are doing both those things. Okay, so again, take care of that right now. Pause me if you need to, but I want you to paste all your websites. Now, once you've pasted all your websites, what you can actually do is go into here where it says citing your sources. So you see where it says citing your sources. Find this. So if we go into this right here into Monday, it's this very first one. It says annotated bibliography. And then we go into this, and this is the actual annotated bibliography information. This is where we actually will find our info, or how we will create our info. So you can scroll past the directions and stuff. I'm basically going to give you the directions. Feel free to read them later, though, if you forget. There's a warning about plagiarism. Feel free to read that. Just talking about like what plagiarism is, why we do bibliographies. And we have some bibliography tools right here. This is an example of what a bibliography looks like. So number 3, if you click on that, it will actually take you to an example. So I think this is actually an old student of mine. Yeah, it is. So, actually, no, this is mine. Never mind. This is my master's thesis. So, this is what a bibliography could look like. And once you get to my level, where you're doing graduate work at a college, your bibliography will be pretty large. This one says 9 pages. So, if you scroll down, you can see these are all my sources that I used for my project. I had about 3 pages worth of primary sources. I had interviews. I had a bunch of U.S. Department of Army stuff. If I scroll down to secondary sources, then you'll get to articles, a bunch of other things. So feel free to look through that if you want to. Oops. And yeah, so that's an example. Here's what we need to do. We need to actually create citations, we call them. Citations are for just our references. It helps other researchers find out where we got our stuff. They're very important because they do help us understand where to find our info. So this is right here, most used sources for citations. We have book. So this is exactly how you would write a book. So you have the last name, first name, title of the book, place of publication, publisher, and year of publication. You do need to write it just like that. So these are all the different ways you could do it. You can see I got periodical, web sources, photograph, personal writing. And I do want you guys to go through, and I want you to start creating this bibliography using this system. I'll make another video later that goes more into the actual examples, but for right now, just know that you need to use these. You can see here that this is the example part, so I can even highlight the examples for the first couple. So you see I'm highlighting examples right now, and then A will be the actual guide. So take care of that as much as you're able to. Really, most of you have books and web sources anyway, so take care of that. And remember, if you have a website with multiple primary sources, you're not citing the website, you're citing the primary source. And we'll get into more of that later. I'll make another video to help you. But right now, you just need to do your best to copy and paste all your web links into your annotated bibliography, okay? And then we're going to move on later. So that's our first part. That's what I need you to do. I need you to create the annotated bibliography. So we have this thing created right here. And I need you to open this up and just kind of take a look at it. Look at the example. If you want to start building your annotated bibliography, you can. But again, we will do another video this week that'll help you understand more of that. All right, so we got our annotated bibliography. Let's open up the process paper next. It's right here. It says introduce process paper. It's going to take us to this thing right here. Just get that open. The process paper is another Google Doc, so you need to open up a new one. So go ahead right now, create a new Google Doc, and I want you to call this one here. I'll use my same. So we'll call that process paper. Title it process paper up here too. And here's the deal. First thing, you only need one process paper per group. So right now, make sure that if you're the first person in your group, you share it. So go to this big blue button on the right, hit share. And you're going to make sure you share that with everybody. So again, you want to make sure you're sharing your process paper. Make sure you go to your email if you are not in first period. So if you're a student that has a partner in another class, go to your email, go to your share with me section in Google Drive. Make sure it has not been shared with you already. If it has, make sure you just go into it. And what we'll do too is we'll make sure everyone's got their names on it. So we got process paper, you're going to get share. If you're an individual group, this won't matter. So let's go ahead and read this thing. And again, you'll have access to this the entire time, but for now, I'll just kind of go through it. First thing, big thing, process paper has to be 500 words. And basically, it's just a paper that goes over why you did your project and what you learned from it. Pretty easy. It's really just your opinion for 500 words. If you're in a group, then it's even easier because you only need to write a certain amount of words. If you're in a group, you should split up the task, unless you want somebody in your group to write the process paper because you're working on the project. That's also a fine way to divvy it up. So again, if you want to divide the project by giving someone the process paper to do while you work on something else, you can. Otherwise, you can just split the process paper up too. So, you got to do 500 words, the description of explaining how you did your research, how you created and developed your entry. So basically, again, it's just like why you picked your project, why you enjoyed it, what you learned from it. You must conclude your description with an explanation of the relationship of your topic to the contest theme. A title page is required at the first page of written material in every category. Your title page must include only the title of your entry, your names in the contest division, and category in which you are entered. We're going to get into title pages in a second, so don't worry about that quite yet. So here's the first thing. This right here tells you like how you could actually organize your information. So you have 4 sections. Remember, you have 500 words. That's about 125 words per section. That's really easy. Remember, we've done a lot of free writing where in 10 minutes you guys have written 200 words or more. So it shouldn't feel like this should be a challenge. It should be pretty simple. So you have this first part, should explain how you chose your topic. So just, think about it as a question. Like if I asked you, why did you choose your topic? Write 125 words about that. Second question, the second section is should explain how you conducted your research. So a question could be, how did you conduct your research? Like what did you do to conduct your research? The third one is I keep on saying how. The third section is explain how you selected your presentation category and created your project. So again, form that in a question if you need to, but write that in 125 words. And then finally, the fourth section, explain how your project relates to the National History Day theme. So remember, the theme changes every single year, so think about what the theme is this year, and then really reflect on that and write 125 words. Oops. All right, so the outline right here, you can kind of see it. So this is another way. You have a process description. We're going to skip the title page, so we're going to go over that in a second. And then we have all this information right here. Just so follow along with it. I mean, honestly, a lot of you probably can get this done in a day. If you're in a group, again, work with each other. Maybe one of you could work on it, or all of you could. Maybe one of you each could take on a paragraph. Or if one of you is a better writer than the others, maybe that person should do it, and then the other, group members can work on the actual big project itself. So yeah, you're going to follow that stuff along. And the final part, it says process paper must be printed on plain white paper and stapled in the upper left-hand corner. No covers, no artwork. So basically, do not draw on the cover. Do not put it in a binder. Make sure it's just the pieces of paper stapled to each other. Just printer paper would be fine. And then you want to bring at least 4 copies of your process paper when you're judged. We do that because we normally have 3 judges per group, and we have one other person who kind of floats around. So if that one person needs to grab your paper, then they need that to be able to see it. So you want to have 4 copies. So you're going to make a process paper, and then that's pretty much it. I think I have an example too. So if you go into Team Haleakala and you click on Process Paper Basics and Outline, there's more information. So if you need to have another dose of information, this is basically just another way to organize it. So if you didn't like that first way, just click on the second way, okay? So again, pause me to get this stuff in organized, create the process paper, and then we're going to move on. So looking at the process paper, we got the process paper evaluation too. I forgot to mention that. So if you pause me and you're looking at process papers still, this is the evaluation rubric I'll look at. So this is what we'll use, and this is for our bibliography too. So make sure that you are looking through this, because this is exactly how I will grade it. So this is the rubric I'll use. Okay. So take your time to look at that stuff. Remember, all these links are right here for the process paper, so you should have access to everything. All right, finally, title page. We're on to the very last thing, and title page is under Rule 17, so we'll go there. So I'm in the rule book right now, and I'm scrolling to page 17. All I did was click on this very last link, and I'm just scrolling down to page 17 where it says Rule 14, title page. I'll zoom in a bit. So again, this is the rule book for the National History Day, so we're just quickly going over it. A title page is required as the first page of written material in every category. Your title page must include only the title of your entry, your names, the contest division, and category which you are entered, and applicable word counts. Please see Figure 2 for examples of required elements for the paper, exhibit, performance, and documentary categories. Details of requirements for a website homepage can be found in E3. Here's a little note. The title page must not include any of the information. You may have no pictures, no graphics, no borders. You cannot put your school name, so you could not put the actual school you're from or the school district. Do not mention where you're from. Or grade. So do not mention that you're an 8th grader or 11th grader. It doesn't matter what grade you're in. Do not mention that you are in anything. You only may put down the stuff that you see right here. So these are some examples of what it could look like. So you got here title on the top, and then you get your names, so all your names. Then you have what division you're in. If you're in middle school, you're in junior division. If you are in high school, you are in the senior division. Then you would write down what kind of thing you have, so historical paper, group exhibit, individual performance. Make sure you actually focus on this part, individual or group. Papers, you're automatically individual, so you don't need to write anything, but everyone else you do. And then you would actually write how long everything is. You need to write how long for paper length. So essays, you would write 2,234 words. Remember, you get 2,500 words. And remember, essays, you don't have to write a process paper, so you don't have to write that. Everybody else, though, you do. So for example, an exhibit, you need to write how many words you have in the exhibit and how many words you have in the process paper. So make sure you take care of that. All right, so we're going to scroll down a little bit more, looking at some more of the rules for process papers. All categories except historical paper must include a process paper with their entry. It must describe in 500 or fewer words how you conducted your research and created your entry. The process paper must include 4 sections that explain some more information for you. And that's pretty much it. So that's all you need to do today. So just to summarize again, I need to see an annotated bibliography. I need to see you introducing your process paper, so actually getting a process paper going. And then I need you to just do a title page. I will make another video for annotated bibliography specifically, like helping you with citations. But for now, I need you to just create all 3 of these things, okay? And remember too, and I didn't really do a good job explaining this at the beginning, all 3 of these things should be shared with groups. So your annotated bibliography, your process paper, and your title page all should be shared with each other. Like one group should have one of each of these things. So please do not make multiple because it gets really confusing, okay? All right, that is it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Take care, guys. Bye.